In today's video, we're going to learn how to play Gracenote catches on the Highland pipes. Stay tuned. Well, hello everybody, I'm Matt Willis Bagpiper, and on this channel I make videos to make you a stronger and more confident piper. If you like this kind of content, please think about giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. I also teach online lessons if you want more personalized instruction, but more on that later. Today we're going to talk about Gracenote catches, often just called the low Gracenote, like a low G Gracenote. We've all done many of these, but they're increasingly showing up in different capacities on different notes within our tunes. And what do I mean by a catch? Well, the most common one that we play is B, low G to A. But sometimes we see it from C. But you can actually play it from any note, even from a low G. And in this exercise right here, you're going to see how you can do that. In the description below, there's a link to the document we have right here. So go ahead, print that out, put it on a tablet, have it in front of you so you can follow along. For these catches, we're basically hitting the note underneath the pitch we want to go to. So in the case of that initial low G catch to A, low G Gracenote to A, we were coming from a B, low G to A. But again, you can do it from C, low G to A, D, low G to A. It really doesn't matter. Now, if you're on the note itself, a low G to A, you're going to need to double that low G. You're going to do that with a G Gracenote, as you see here. But it also works best if you're coming from just one pitch above. If you wanted an A, low G catch to an A, it also works best if you stick that G Gracenote on it there. Once you're 2 pitches or more above the note you're trying to get to, that G Gracenote doesn't really matter and it's not really used. And the other major catch that we see all the time that you'll be familiar with if you've done any amount of piping is high A, F to G. But another increasingly common one I'm seeing in the music is the E catch to F. As you can see right here, that one's showing up in more and more tunes. So today we're going to be going through every possible catch combination of notes that you can play on this instrument. And when we get to the high G, you're going to see, well, that one, we just name it something else, but you'll be familiar with that. But that's at the end, so stay tuned for that. So we're just walking a scale through this, starting on low G. And as you can see, G Gracenote to another low G and lift to an A. And then I'm going to separate that A from the next A with just a tapping motion. I didn't want to get it overly confused with the G Gracenotes and everything. So I'm using a tapping motion there to separate just because we're on an A, going to another A. After that, every pitch is going to be different, so we don't need the grace notes. As you can see in this first line, they're all written as pointed rhythms with the melody note first as a dotted 8th note, and then the catching note as a 16th note lifting to where we're going to go. The line underneath is basically played in the exact same way, but that's how it would most likely look in the wild as grace notes. So, enough of my talking. Let's go ahead and get this going. I got my metronome at 72 here, but put your metronome wherever you need to, and let's give this a go. As you can see, above me I had line 1, and below me I had line 2. I'm not going to play these twice because, again, they're played basically the same. It's just how they're written. So we're going to move on now to the A catch to B. So every one of these, again, it's the note right below the target pitch we're aiming for. So in this line, every ending note is going to be a B with a low A before it. And again, when we're coming from notes underneath or the same pitch as, we're going to initiate that catch with a G Gracenote, and then we're going to separate the 2 Bs in a row with just a tap because we have to separate with something. And then after that, we're going to be able to move on without needing extra G Gracenotes, just the lowering catching Gracenote itself. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the members of my Patreon community. These are folks that contribute to the channel monthly. I'd love to add your name to this list. There's a number of perks you can get by heading over to the Patreon and checking that out. And just know you guys on this list make this all possible. Thank you. All right, the B catch to C. So again, every final note we're ending on is a C, and it's going to be a short B before each one of those. Same rules apply as before. and the C catch to D. I did want to point out real quick, my Bagpipe Basic Series exercise manual is available both in paperback and hardcover. It's available on Amazon. Link below. Check that out. It's 46 exercises, 84 educational pages, plus a bio and more about me in here. So check out the Bagpipe Basic Series manual. The D catch to E. If you wanted more personalized instruction, I do give online bagpipe lessons. Go ahead and head over to www.commandyourbagpipe.com or email me at the address you see right here, and we'll get you going. I'm working with folks from all over the planet, and I hope to work with you soon. The E catch to F. This is the one that I'm starting to see show up more and more in just regular pipe music, and it's often confusing people. So this whole lesson was actually really about getting to this guy right here, but I thought, why not address all the different catches? Maybe give some of you bagpipe composers out there some additional ornamental tools for your new tunes and things you're coming up with. And then finally, the F catch to G. Now, if you take a look at the second line right there, you can see it's basically the G doubling. Specifically, the G doubling played in the pipe band style. I have a whole video about that boom, you can check out right there. But we're going to do it all right here as well. Now, you can see at the end of the line, I'm actually introducing a high A grace note to this, which wouldn't normally be done in a G doubling. But again, we're here using it like a catch. So the G doubling can be played in two ways. There's also another way you can play it as kind of a throw style ornament, and you can find that video, boom, up there. And all these are, of course, in the description below. But today, it's all about these catches, but you can see it's really just what you likely know as a G doubling. If there's one thing that might make this catch motion just a little different than the high G doubling is that a catch typically comes before the beat and you get to the melody note on the beat, whereas the G doubling, even played in that pipe band style, tends to be right on the beat, and there'd be really no way for you to know what the composer intended unless they wrote specifically like a note underneath what they wanted. So play around with the timing of this in your own tunes, or of course listen to your pipe major. But if you're doing this on your own and you're just picking up some tunes and you see this high G doubling and you suspect it might be a catch, especially if you see some other catches in the tune, play around with where it's falling on the beat. You might be surprised that maybe moving it just a little early in this case might actually give a little bit more lift to the piece than you might expect. And I didn't feel any of these catches worked with high A. I kind of played around with it for a little bit, but it involved the thumb and they sounded clunky. I haven't seen them, so I didn't throw an A in this. We just kind of do the sweepy A deal for any kind of embellishment we need on high A or a grip from A to A. So no high A's in this one. There you go, everybody. Here's a relatively straightforward exercise for this increasingly common ornament I'm seeing showing up in more and more tunes, and this is every possible permutation of this that I could at least think of. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you got something out of the video, please think about giving it a like, subscribing to the channel, and sharing with any other pipers that you might know. And don't forget, I do have online merch, including this lovely poster right here, the Highland Bagpipe embellishment tree, but I also have mugs and hats and hoodies and other things, so go check out my bagpipe theme merchandise. Thank you for watching, everybody, and until next time, I'm Matt Willis. Cheers.